Alright, what is up everybody? MSD here, back with another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. Today is going to be a relatively quick video and overview of the new Civil Warrior. Now, I did preemptively take this character to rank 5, level 65, and I popped a Tech Awakening gem into him. And this video is kind of an update to see if I regret it, if I have any buyer's guilt about this character, and the answer is no. I do really believe that he is a much better character, and he's going to be an option for a lot of people, especially beginning players, to get through a lot of content that could be roadblocking them or could be causing them issues, because he has a lot of versatility with how you can play him. So Civil Warrior has 4 distinct abilities now with his buff. He has damage, he has power control, he has heal block, and he has bleed and poison resistance. Essentially, it's not a full resistance like it used to be. It's an ability accuracy reduction of 25% per armor buff. So if you have 4 armor buffs, the ability accuracy of bleed and poison will be reduced by 100%. So essentially, they will not apply to you. Even if you already have one on you, that will be the last one. So if you're on Caltrops, for example, and you have 4 armors, you dash back once before you have 4 armors, you'll get a bleed. But if you dash back once, twice, 15 times after you already have 4 armors, you will no longer gain a bleed. Now, one thing to note, currently Civil Warrior's armor buffs are technically bugged because he does not pause them after special attacks, or at least after a special one. When he gains 4 armors, none of them stay paused. They're supposed to stay paused for 20 seconds, but they are not. But as you can see from the gameplay of this Winter Soldier fight, even without the armor buffs being paused, it's very easy to convert his armors and keep them going at a very high level with really no risk, because Civil Warrior has extremely high block proficiency, and that SIG ability allows you to tank special attacks even further on the block, so you can convert the armors very easily. So let's move on to a clip from an Abyss fight. We have Abyss Omega Red, and I really wanted to see how well Civil Warrior would do in content like Abyss. From my testing, he doesn't do that well. I had higher hopes for his damage output in this type of content, but the ramp up required for his damage to reach high levels is just too much for Abyss specifically. Now for Labyrinth, I think he could be a pretty sustainable Labyrinth option if you want to do an initial completion and an initial clear. I feel like Civil Warrior could get that done, but for content like Abyss, I really don't think he's going to be that useful. So as you can see right there on the first special attack that Omega Red just threw, and on the second one as well, I throw 2 whiffed attacks in the air, and I'm gaining an armor buff. Now you might be asking, how am I doing that? Well, Civil Warrior has a new ability that was changed from his previous ability, to where every 5th basic attack thrown by either opponent will grant Civil Warrior an armor buff. Now this could mean whiffed attacks, this could mean blocked attacks, and it's from any champion. It's from you or the opponent. So essentially, I could throw a 5-hit combo and gain an armor buff, but I'll gain my armor buff on the 4th hit of my 5-hit combo if I landed a parry, because that is Omega Red throwing a basic attack. You'll see here soon that I do it yet again right there. There's 3 whiffs, even though I gained the armor on the second one. That was my 5th basic attack thrown. It doesn't actually have to make contact with the opponent. I think this is probably one of the things that's going to get overlooked about his sustainability of damage, is that you're going to be gaining that one single armor buff a lot. It's going to be triggering quite often, because just landing a parry, you're taking away 1 hit from the 5-hit counter. All you have to do is land a 4-hit combo and you have an armor buff. Dexing 4 times, you have to hit the opponent 1 time, throw 1 whiff attack, and you gain an armor. And that allows you to convert the armors into furies very, very easily. So I'm not going to show you the entire clip because I do end up dying here from an evade from the special 2. I did post it on Twitter if you wanted to see how that ended. But he does okay in this long-form content. He's going to do much better in Labyrinth because there's a time limit instead of a hit limit. But for Abyss content, I don't really recommend Civil Warrior for specifically this content. So now, finally, we're going to look at Civil Warrior's versatility in Labyrinth. So this is going to be a full Labyrinth Old Man Logan solo. And he definitely does much better in Labyrinth, just like I said in the Omega Red clip, there is no hit cap to Labyrinth, it's just a timer. So as long as he has enough attack, Civil Warrior is going to do really well, because his ramp up does take a decent amount of hits and a fairly decent amount of time. It's definitely not the most arduous ramp up in the game, but it definitely it can be a time sink if you're playing it improperly. If you're not managing his armor buffs well, you can definitely lose those Furies very easily if you stop paying attention, and the ramp up will just take even longer. But a good thing to note, and this is something that I was scared of before he was going to get released, is once you are at 50 armors, converting another one does refresh the timer. So it was a very obscure thing to be afraid of, because why would they make a champion that could reach this level of damage but couldn't sustain it? But I just had my fear, because this is Kabam, and they didn't tell us that the armor would refresh after 50. So this is just a very it's the weight has been taken off my shoulders essentially for this piece of his kit. So it makes me very happy. But overall, again, this is a very short video, just giving my initial thoughts, like where he kind of fits into the game. I'll try and get other content with this guy, but let me just get into the general consensus on Civil Warrior from my eyes. So if I had to rate this character out of 10, 1 being, like OG Iron Man, OG Captain America, borderline useless, to 10, the Omega Red, the Ghost, the Corvuses of the game, the Corvi, I guess, technically, plural. Anyway, I think Civil Warrior kind of fits in the above average range. He's definitely not average anymore. He definitely has a lot of things going for him. He has immunity to Nullify and Stagger, which I forgot to mention at the beginning as one of his key features. He is fully immune to Nullify and Stagger, which means he bypasses Buffet, he bypasses Pilfer. He is completely immune to those nodes and cannot be affected by them in any way. So any Mystic champion that relies on nullification, Civil Warrior is going to completely shut them down, which is a really, really good ability. Even if he's not as sustainable with his damage, even if you can't keep it up that much in a specific matchup, you can rely on his heal block, his power control, his bleed and poison resistance, and his immunity to Nullify and Stagger. So he technically has 4 immunities, quote unquote. The bleed and poison are pseudo immunities because they can switch back and forth, and he's not technically immune, he just prevents them from being applied, but it's still technically preventing them from getting on Civil Warrior. So it's an immunity, but it's air quotes immunity, because he's not actually taking no damage from them or fully immune to them. But that piece of utility is huge for Civil Warrior, because even if, like I said, the damage is not as sustainable, if you can only keep up a few Furies, you can have some decent damage, but that immunity to Nullify and Stagger is going to be very, very helpful if there's ever a very tricky Pilfer node where maybe someone doesn't have Thing, they can use Civil Warrior, or they need someone who can heal block and Pilfer. Civil Warrior is the only champion in the game who is immune to Nullify and Stagger. Sorry, the recording cut off there. But yeah, Civil Warrior is the only champion immune to Nullify and Stagger who can heal block and power control. So that utility alone will bring some value to his name, but I don't think he's going to be in most people's upper echelon of champions, at least in my personal opinion, from testing him at a 565 level. I do think he is very good. I do think he has a place in this game, but he is not overly... He's not going to be overly used, is what I'm trying to say here. I think he's going to be the perfect beginner player, the perfect beginner champion, just because of all that he can do, all of his resistances, immunities, damage, power control, heal block. He has essentially everything you need as a beginner to not feel roadblocked in content. He has every piece of utility that a beginner should need, and should only need for, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, where he's not going to roadblock you, essentially. He's going to be able to push by those roadblocks and get you to that higher level content. And in higher level content, Act 6, Act 7, Labyrinth, I think he will have a place, but his place won't be as defined as other tech champions or other champions that are bleed and poison resistance or can prevent bleed and poison, other high damage champions, other heal block champions, but he does have everything that those champions can technically have. So that is how I feel about Civil Warrior. I think he's pretty good. If I had to rate him out of 10, I don't believe I even give the answer, but I would give him a 7.5 out of 10. I think he is a solid character. I think the rework did him justice. He's very fun now, very versatile with all that he can do. He's got the damage, he's got the utility. It's just picking and choosing what you want to maintain during a matchup, and if you can maintain multiple things at a time, then that's even better. Like you can maintain Fury, and you can maintain Power Control and Heal Block, all simultaneously. You can keep all three going essentially at the same time. The only thing that you really can't keep coincided with Fury, with his damage, is the resistance to bleed and poison. But that's how I feel about Civil Warrior. Please let me know how you feel about him in the comments below. Do you think he's worth rank 5? I personally do, and I also think he is worth rank 3 for Thronebreaker. I do think he makes it into that list of characters that I would take to rank 3 for Thronebreaker. So, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to hit that like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.